Alright, what's up guys? I just got some new parts in for my 2009 Civic Coupe Si, of course. So let's take a look. First up, we got some SPC camber bolts. Very exciting. And I got Skunk 2 rear camber arms. These are the version 3s with the Heim joint. So I'm assuming these are better than the version 2s. But this is probably a little overkill for my setup. I'm not planning on going super low or anything, but I figured it's better to have them and just put them all in it. Put everything together all at once. So got those. Went with silver because that's what OE Honda is, so why would you put gold in? Alright, next up we got a Eibach rear sway bar. I just went with the rear one. That's the most recommended modification as far as sway bars and strut bars for the Civic Si's of this generation. So just the rear. It's just a red metal bar. I believe it's 19 millimeters. So it's not the most aggressive bar you can get, but I don't plan on tracking this, at least not very often, so this will work fine. And finally we have the STX coilovers. These are pretty highly recommended over on the 8th gen forums. They have adjustable ride height, of course, but they don't have adjustable dampening. But they're set pretty soft, so they're supposed to be about the same as the stock suspension, which is definitely what I was going for. These are relatively inexpensive. They're only about $800, but they are supposedly higher quality than your average low-cost coilovers like the Function Forms and the Megan Racings. Those are all basically made in the same factory and just painted different colors, and they are not rebuildable like these ones are. These ones, of course, are made by KW in Germany, so they are built to TUV standards and are supposed to be pretty good. One thing I forgot to mention was that I got new top mounts. So by doing that, it makes it a lot easier because you don't have to take apart the old one. You just take out the old stretch spring assembly, just put this one in and you're done. So you don't have to use a spring compressor. That makes the job a heck of a lot easier. And it makes it a lot easier to switch back if you want. So hopefully I'm going to be putting these on today. We'll see how it goes. The instructions that come with it are very helpful, but you can get the instructions for the Honda HFP kit online. So I'll put a link in the description for that. First thing I wanted to mention was that the camber bolts I got, you're not supposed to use them with struts that are slotted. So I ended up not using those at all. Overall, the installation took 15 hours, approximately, over 2 days. That was a lot longer than I thought it would. That was for a couple of reasons. When installing the camber arms, the best way to access the bolts on the passenger side was to remove the exhaust, the muffler. And in doing that, I ended up breaking one of the exhaust bolts, so I had to go to the Honda parts store and get a couple more of those. Really the biggest problem I came across was that in order to change the ride height in the rear of the car, you have to completely disassemble the rear suspension to take the spring out. I really didn't expect that, especially because it comes with wrenches for the front and back, but I was wailing on that thing and it just wouldn't turn because the spring is mounted to rubber on the top, so the top won't spin, and the bottom it's just metal on metal, so that won't spin on either end. And so I mean, unless I'm doing something wrong, as far as I can tell, there's no way to change it without taking it off the car. As far as the camber settings, it was easiest just to set them to maximum negative camber, both front and back, so that I can make sure it's the same on both sides. So granted, it'll destroy the tires, but I barely drive the car. My commute's like 3 miles, and I got the car from CarMax, and they put these really unbelievably cheap tires on it. Like, not even Coom hose or anything like that, but like tires you get, by the 1,000 off of Alibaba, like straight from China. But so I really don't care if those tires get messed up because I need to replace them eventually anyway. At some point, especially if I do get some good summer tires, I'm hoping to put it at -1 degree camber front and rear, because that should be a pretty good compromise between tire wear and handling. So my impressions for the setup overall, with the STX coilovers and the Eibach rear sway bar, to be honest, and the amount of driving I've done so far, granted it's not high performance driving or anything like that, but I can't tell the difference really. If I took it to a track or something like that, more limit handling, it'd probably be more of a difference, but from my daily driving, it's not really a noticeable difference in terms of body roll or turn in. On the bright side, the ride quality is really much better than I expected from coilovers. It really is just as good as stock, with maybe a little bit more road feel, but really it when you go over manhole covers or bumps, stuff like that, it feels just like stock and it's really comfortable. They really are a good value though when you consider the price point they come in at as well, at around $800, and they had a rebate promotion going on in May as well. Like, you're not going to find much else in that price range that's going to be better built. That's assuming you're looking for coilovers though. Obviously, the Koni's yellows with high quality spring will be still a really good option, and most people will probably be fine with that. And of course, the whole reason you go for coilovers is the height adjustability, which ended up being a drawback on this one. The rear height adjustment is really the only problem with these things that really makes it a deal breaker potentially for some people. For me, I probably wouldn't have bought them if I had known that the rear wasn't adjustable going in. So it's what a trade-off you have to make to hit that price point, I guess. But if you don't mind taking the rear suspension apart every time you want to change the height, in all other aspects, they really are a pretty good option. So hopefully someone will find this information helpful. I don't claim to know a whole lot, but if you have any questions about it, let me know and I might be able to help you. But that's it for now, so thanks for watching, guys.